There's some pushback from Trump on the Biden administration and their use of the autopen. We started covering this back in January. I saw this as just meat on the bone, big meat going. This is an open door for an investigation if I ever saw one. And we beat a whole lot of the competition to this news. I'm often wrong. This time we got it. This is clearly a questionable act to have a robot sign a document on behalf of President Biden, when Biden, we now know, but we've known all along it was controversial. How present of mind was he?
The president was begging the question that I think a lot of journalists in this room should be asking about whether or not the former president of the United States, who I think we can all finally agree was cognitively impaired. I know it took people some time to finally admit that, but we all know that to be true, as evidenced by his disastrous debate performance against President Trump during the campaign. I digress on that. But the president was raising the point that, did the president even know about these pardons? Was his legal signature used without his consent or knowledge? And that's not just the president or me raising those questions, Caitlin. According to the New York Post, there are Biden officials from the previous White House who raised those questions and wondered if the president was even consulted about his legally binding signature being signed onto documents. And so I think it's a question that everybody in this room should be looking into, because certainly that would propose perhaps criminal or illegal behavior if staff members were signing the President of the United States autograph without his consent.
Biden is on the record talking about issuing preemptive pardons to these people.
But was he aware of his signature being used on every single pardon? That's a question you should ask the Biden White House.
Is there any evidence on that he wasn't aware of it?
You're a reporter. You should find out.
Welcome to the Doug TenNapel channel. I'm glad that you found it. I'm glad that you subscribed. You guys, of course, let me know what you think in the comments. You guys are just a really cool audience. I like hearing your opinion, even if it's just to let me know that you're there and you show up. And that's how we see each other. Give us a like. Of course, that helps push this channel out. Let's get to the actual Trump announcement of the trouble that is coming for them. Now, I'm over here on my Twitter, and look, here's, let me see if I can get in closer on this for you so you can read it along with me. Okay, it says the pardons. This is from Trump on Twitter. The pardons that Sleepy Joe Biden gave to the unselect committee of political thugs. He's talking about Liz Cheney there, the unselect committee. And so they got a preemptive pardon, right? Including Adam Schiff's on there. I can't remember who else, just a ton of those guys. And many others are hereby declared, all caps, void, vacant, and of no further force or effect. Now, I don't know if he can do this, guys, but he's pushing and he's using his presidential authority to declare them void. And that would open them up to investigations then, because they don't have pardons. Because of the fact that they were done by autopen. In other words, Joe Biden did not sign them, but more importantly, he did not know anything about them. The necessary pardoning documents were not explained to nor approved by Joe Biden. He knew nothing about them. And the people that did may have committed a crime. Therefore, so now he's saying, if you try and defend it, we're going to come after you. Could be Jill Biden, could be any of the Barack Obama shadow empire behind Biden. Therefore, those on the unselect committee who destroyed and deleted all evidence obtained during their 2-year witch hunt, that's Liz Cheney, their 2-year witch hunt of me, and many other innocent people, should fully understand that they're subject to investigation at the highest level. So they destroyed all of their documentation on the J6 committee and on going after Trump. The fact is, they were probably responsible for the documents that were signed on their behalf without the knowledge or consent of the worst president in history of our country, crooked Joe Biden. This is actually an opportunity. If Joe Biden, they talk about him having a really being upset that he got pushed out of the presidency, he may snap it back on his own party and say, Trump's right. I have no recollection of signing these documents. It was all autopenned by someone else, the Schumer, Nancy Pelosi side that were trying to push him out and bring in Kamala. This could escalate in an interesting way. I have a quick clip here This is just showing you a cartoon graphic of the auto pen signatures. If we look, so there's the animation going. Over here, we have the Biden family pardon. They're all the same signature. This is the J6 committee pardon. This is Dr. Fauci pardon. And this is the General Milley pardon. And this is the Lundergan pardon. I don't know who that is. But look, they're all the same auto pen signature. And that's not controversial. The presidents have used auto pen all the time. Usually not on a document like this. Usually if they were on vacation or in another country and there was documents that needed to be signed, they would give their verbal approval and then someone would run the auto pen. Okay, so now this story develops further. Breaking: Senator Jim Banks, Republican Indiana, now demands investigations into Adam Kinzinger, Liz Cheney, and other J6 committee members after their pardons were declared null and void by Trump over the use of auto pen. Now that we know that their pardons were illegitimately signed by auto pen, rendering them legally invalid, an investigation into the actions of every single committee member should be launched immediately. Now, I think he's getting a little far ahead of himself on that, but they're pushing. You got to push to get it to work, and I support that push. Now, here's Trump coming. I have two clips of Trump coming out of the airplane here addressing this auto pen situation. Here's the first one.
We have thousands of murderers that Biden and his incompetence, first of all, he's grossly incompetent, but that Biden and his people and his probably auto pen, it looked like we had an auto pen for a president.
Okay. Now I'm just going to, the sound's a little bad on this airplane, so I'm going to do a little bit of a translation for you. He just said that the murderers that were pardoned by Biden were done by an auto pen. And there were 1,500 murderers on death row that Biden pardoned. And we don't know if he signed it.
And we would have been better off if we had, probably. But it looks to me like, that's a big subject. I'm sure you won't ask about that. But the whole subject of auto pen, did he know what he was doing? Did he authorize it? Or is this somebody in an office, maybe a radical left lunatic, just signing whatever that person was? That's not what it's all about. I never use it. I mean, we may use it as an example to send some young person a letter. It's nice, we get thousands and thousands of letters and letters of support for young people, for people that aren't feeling well, etc. But to sign pardons and all of the things that he signed with an auto pen is disgraceful.
Disgraceful. Okay. So this is the publicity side of the whole thing going down on of Trump against Biden. It doesn't mean it's lock and loaded and the case has no question to it. Just because Trump declares it void doesn't make it void. Now, because the Democrats will want to push back legally and say, you got to send this up to the Supreme Court if the auto pen isn't legit, because auto pens have been used for over 100 years by the president. And then we have to make our case. And in the end, is because the president has to sign thousands and thousands of documents a day. Like he said, sick people, they get an auto pen signature. It goes out in a letter. Oftentimes, if you get a letter, you'll get the auto pen signature. And so I got another quote here of Trump on the auto pen on that same plane flight, where this is clearly something that the administration is pushing out into media and for us to talk about. That's why I'm presenting it to you. This is something that could have implications on we want the Trump administration to go after that deep, evil state, right? We want him to go after them and reverse whatever they did to him over the last 4 years. We want them to put it into law so that it can't be done again. And that means he's going to have to go back into that dirty past, that dirty swamp, and call it all out. Even while he tries to push his new agenda forward of saving America in a different way, he has to save it legally. So here he is. This is the second clip, the last clip I've got of him on the subject of auto pen.
Are those executive orders, those pardons from the former president now null and void?
Are those auto pen signatures now null and void? They're asking him to reinforce that tweet.
Well, I think so. It's not my decision. That'll be up to a court. But I would say that they're null and void because I'm sure Biden didn't have any idea that it was taking place. And somebody was using an auto pen to sign off and to give pardons to, as an example, just one example, but the J6 Unselect Committee, they gave, think of it, they gave pardons with an autopen. I don't think Biden knew anything about it. And what they did is they deleted and destroyed all of the information that took them over a year to get.
Okay, so all they have to do is go to Joe Biden while he's alive and say, did you know that you pardoned Liz Cheney and Kinzinger and Adam Schiff? That'd be a great thing to get a verbal on it. And Biden might want to give his own side a little trouble. Go, I know nothing about it. But this is a great start to push back on the corruption of the last administration. And like I said, I would love to tell you guys, they're going to jail. We often put those titles in. They're going to jail. I don't know if they're going to jail. This thing has to, like Trump said, has to work its way through the courts. So now you're updated on the autopen scandal, which we broke and we'll be covering all along. As soon as there's a bump in any news on this subject, we will bring it to you. That's why you want to subscribe and ring that bell and leave a comment below, and YouTube will keep feeding you my videos. And we'll be doing a live one today at 3 p.m. I'm Doug, and this is the Doug TenNapel channel.